Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you through the most eye-opening 60 minutes of your life. Imagine sitting in a room alone with your thoughts and realizing the truth about your existence. It is not an easy realization, but it's the one you need to face to unlock your true potential. Are you ready to look into the mirror and see the reflection of who you truly are? Let me tell you something that will shake the ground beneath your feet. No one is coming to save you. That's right. The sooner you understand that, the better your life becomes. Embracing self-responsibility is not just a nice idea, it's the foundation of your freedom. We live in a world where it's far too easy to point fingers, blame others, or blame circumstances. But here's the hard truth. You are responsible for your life, your pain, your progress, and your future. And until you accept that, you'll keep running in circles, stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing changes. Sound familiar? The most dangerous illusion you can fall into is the belief that life owes you something. It doesn't. Life is brutal, unpredictable, and unfair, and yet it's also filled with beauty, power, and opportunity if you're willing to claim it. But that opportunity only becomes yours when you decide to take ownership. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more blaming your past, your parents, your boss, your partner, or your environment. You are not a victim. You are capable, intelligent, and stronger than you think. But that version of you doesn't come alive until you stop handing over your power. You need to realize something. Every choice you make is either building you or breaking you. Every moment you avoid responsibility, you surrender a piece of your potential. Think about that. You're either stepping forward into growth or retreating into comfort. And comfort will betray you every time. It might feel safe, but in reality it's a trap. Nothing meaningful grows there. If you want to evolve, if you want to become someone you're proud of, you have to take the weight of your life and carry it. Stand up straight, look the world in the eye and say, "This is on me." Yes, it's going to be hard. Taking responsibility means facing your flaws. It means acknowledging your failures without hiding behind excuses. It means understanding that your habits, your attitude, your discipline, or lack thereof, have all led you to where you are right now. But here's the power in that. If you created this, then you can change it. That's the magic, that's the fire. When you own everything, you give yourself the permission to change everything. This isn't about guilt or shame, it's about power. Real power, the kind of power that doesn't come from control over others, but control over yourself. When you wake up in the morning and say, "No matter what happens today, I will take responsibility for how I respond," you become unstoppable. No one can break you, no one can shake you, because you know, you've got this. You're not perfect, but you're improving, and that's what matters. The world respects those who take ownership, and deep down, you respect yourself more when you do. So, ask yourself right now, what am I avoiding responsibility for? What am I pretending isn't my fault? Be honest. That's where your freedom begins, because in that brutal honesty there is growth. There is transformation. There is the beginning of a life that is truly yours. There comes a moment in every life when we stop and ask ourselves, what's the point of all this? And that question isn't just some passing thought. It's a cry from the soul. Meaning is not a luxury. It's not something optional that we can live without. It is the very thing that keeps us going when life turns dark, when the weight gets heavy, when nothing else seems to make sense. Without meaning, we suffer, not just a little, but deeply. And the worst part is, we know when our lives are hollow, we can feel it. There is a difference between being busy and being fulfilled. There is a difference between existing and living. And you know it, you've felt it too. You can have all the money, all the attention, all the comfort in the world, and still be drowning in emptiness. Why? Because none of that fills the void. Meaning isn't something you find by accident. It's something you build. You create it through responsibility, through sacrifice, through doing the hard things that matter. When you attach yourself to something bigger than you, when you decide that your life will stand for something, that's when everything changes. The suffering doesn't go away, but now it has a reason. And when your pain has a purpose, it stops breaking you and starts shaping you. But let's be honest, meaning is not handed to you. It doesn't show up with a smile and a promise. It demands effort. It asks for your time, your energy, your focus. It asks you to grow, to evolve, to let go of who you were so you can become who you're meant to be. That's not easy. It takes courage to walk into that kind of fire. But what's the alternative? To drift, to numb yourself with distractions, to pretend that surface, level goals and shallow wins are enough. That's a slow death. You weren't made for that. You were made for something more. And maybe no one told you this before, but you have a role to play in this world. You're not here by accident. There is something only you can do, something only you can give. But if you don't take that seriously, if you don't seek it with everything you've got, you'll never feel truly alive. You'll feel restless, disconnected, like something is missing. Because something is missing, meaning is the anchor in the chaos. It's the reason you get up when everything falls apart. It's the fire that keeps burning, even when the lights go out. You want strength, you want fulfillment, find something meaningful to fight for. Tie your identity not to what feels good right now, but to what matters in the long run. That might mean stepping up when you'd rather sit down. It might mean taking care of someone else when you can barely take care of yourself. But in those moments when you choose meaning over comfort, you grow, and that growth becomes the foundation of your future. Not an easy future, but a real one, a future that's worth fighting for. Fear is not your enemy, it's your compass. It points you toward the very thing that holds your potential hostage. The truth is, the things we're most afraid of are often the very things we need to face to grow. But instead of confronting them, we run. We numb ourselves with distractions, hide behind excuses, or convince ourselves that we're not ready yet. But guess what? You'll never feel ready. That moment never comes wrapped in comfort. It comes in the form of anxiety, doubt, and discomfort. And that's exactly how you know you're standing at the edge of something important. Fear shows up when you're about to break the limits of who you've been and step into who you could become. Every time you run from fear, you give it more power. You let it shape your decisions, dictate your path, and shrink your life. You let it convince you that you're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough. But fear lies. It distorts your reality. It whispers that failure will destroy you, that rejection is unbearable, that pain is to be avoided at all costs. And if you believe it, you settle. You live a small life not because that's all you're capable of, but because you chose safety over growth. That's the real tragedy, not the fear itself, but what it steals from you when you refuse to confront it. But the moment you face it, really face it, something shifts inside you. You realize that the monster in your mind is far bigger than the one in front of you. You begin to understand that fear doesn't mean stop, it means go. It means you're touching the boundary of transformation. The person you want to become, the life you want to build, it's all hidden behind the things you're afraid to face. Fear isn't just a threat, it's a signal. It's your soul telling you this is the way, and make no mistake, it won't be easy. Your heart will race, your hands will shake, your mind will scream for you to turn back. But if you stay in that fire, if you refuse to run, you'll discover something incredible. You are more capable than you ever imagined. You'll feel your confidence rise from the ashes of your doubt. You'll walk away stronger, not because the fear disappeared, but because you walked through it and came out the other side. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of it. And every time you choose that action, every time you confront what scares you, you build resilience. You gain clarity, you take back control, and over time, the things that once terrified you become the very stories that define your strength. So don't avoid fear. Look it dead in the eye, use it. Let it guide you to the places inside yourself you've never dared to explore. Because on the other side of that fear is the life you've been waiting to live. Discipline is not a punishment, it's a path to freedom. Most people misunderstand this. They think discipline is about restriction, about saying no to everything that feels good, about living a life of rigidity and constant pressure. But that's not what discipline really is. True discipline is about control. It's about being the kind of person who does what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching, because you understand something most people don't. The life you want doesn't come from wishful thinking, it comes from consistent action. It's easy to chase motivation, to wait for the right mood or the perfect moment, but motivation is a liar. It comes and goes like the wind. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll never build anything that lasts. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. It's the voice in your head that says, I don't care how you feel right now. We made a promise to ourselves and we're keeping it. That voice, when it becomes louder than your excuses, is when your life starts to change. The truth is, everything you want in life, your goals, your dreams, your potential, it all costs something, and the currency is discipline. You want a healthy body, you need the discipline to eat clean and train consistently. You want success in your career, you need the discipline to master your craft, stay focused, and outlast the people who quit. You want strong relationships. You need the discipline to communicate, to show up, to do the work even when it's hard. Nothing meaningful happens without it. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. But it's not just about grinding for the sake of it. It's about becoming the kind of person who can trust themselves, someone who follows through, someone who knows deep down that when they say they'll do something, it gets done. That's powerful. That builds confidence, because now you don't just hope things will work out. You know you'll make them work out because you've trained yourself to follow through. That kind of trust in yourself is rare, and it's earned one disciplined decision at a time. People talk about freedom like it's the absence of rules, the absence of structure, but the opposite is true. Real freedom is having the ability to control your impulses, to choose long-term gains over short-term pleasure, to rise above your circumstances. Real freedom is the result of mastery, and mastery only comes through discipline. So when you feel like skipping the hard stuff, when the comfort of procrastination starts calling your name, remember this: every time you choose discipline, you're choosing your future over your feelings. You're casting a vote for the person you want to become, and the more votes you cast, the stronger that version of you becomes. Discipline isn't a burden, it's the key to everything you've ever wanted. Change doesn't happen when you wait for someone else to fix things. It doesn't come from pointing fingers, blaming the world, or hoping the circumstances around you suddenly shift in your favor. Change starts with you. That's not just a motivational phrase. It's a reality that too many people ignore. It's easier to complain. It's easier to say, if only they would treat me better, or if only the system were different, or if only I had more time, more help, more luck. But those thoughts don't move you forward, they just keep you stuck. The moment you decide to stop waiting and start acting is the moment your life starts to transform. You have more power than you realize. Every single day you make choices, some small, some big, but each one is shaping your future. Whether you're conscious of it or not, you are constantly building your reality through your habits, your mindset, your effort. And yes, things will happen that are outside your control. Life can be unfair. People can let you down, but what you do in response, that is entirely yours. That's the part that matters most, because your reaction defines your growth. Your growth defines your future. Change doesn't need permission. It needs commitment. It starts in the moment you say, enough. Enough of blaming, enough of waiting, enough of settling for less than you're capable of. And that shift, that internal decision, doesn't need a crowd to witness it. It doesn't need approval or applause. It just needs you to take ownership. The person you want to become, the life you dream about, it's not out there somewhere. It's inside you, waiting to be built through action. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to know every step. You just need to move, one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. And the beautiful thing is, the moment you begin to change yourself, your entire world begins to shift. Not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. You see things differently. You respond differently. You lead yourself with clarity instead of confusion. That inner leadership, it's everything. People around you will notice too. When you rise, you give others permission to do the same. Your energy affects people. Your discipline, your integrity, your focus. It speaks louder than any words ever could. That's how real change spreads. It starts inside one person, and from there it touches everyone around them, but it begins with you. Your courage, your decision to break the cycle, to stop repeating patterns that no longer serve you, to become the kind of person who takes full ownership of their story. So when you feel stuck, lost, or overwhelmed by everything that needs fixing in the world, come back to this truth. The first step is always yours. No one can walk it for you, but once you take it, momentum builds. Doors open, and you realize you were never powerless. You just hadn't claimed your strength yet. Truth is not just a concept, it is a force that can break chains, reveal purpose, and rebuild a broken life. But the truth is also heavy. It's not always easy to face. It demands honesty, courage, and a willingness to see things exactly as they are, not as we wish them to be, and that's why most people avoid it. They bury it under distraction, they silence it with excuses, they run from it because facing the truth often means confronting the parts of themselves they don't want to deal with. But here's the thing, until you face the truth, you will never be free. You will never have peace, never feel whole, never live fully, because you'll always be carrying the weight of denial. The truth has the power to set you on a path of real change, not surface-level change, not temporary improvement, but deep, lasting transformation. Because when you face the truth, your truth, you see what needs to change. You stop lying to yourself about why you're stuck, why you're unhappy, why you're not where you want to be. You stop pretending that the problem is out there and start realizing it's been inside you all along. That realization might hurt, it might crush your ego, but it will also wake you up, and once you're awake, you can start to move forward deliberately, powerfully. Truth builds trust, first with yourself and then with the world. When you live truthfully, you no longer waste energy pretending. You don't need to put on a mask or keep up a lie. You walk into a room with peace because there's nothing to hide. People feel that. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect your honesty. And more importantly, you will respect yourself. That's the foundation of confidence, not arrogance, not pretending to have all the answers, but living with integrity, knowing that what you say and what you do are in alignment, that you're not betraying your own values just to fit in or avoid discomfort. Truth is uncomfortable, but it's also clarifying. It cuts through the noise, it shows you what matters, it tells you when it's time to let go, when it's time to fight, when it's time to change. And the beautiful part is, once you commit to living in truth, life becomes simpler, not easier but clearer. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop wasting time on fake connections, fake goals, fake versions of success. You start choosing what's real, but it starts with you. Not pointing out the lies in others, but confronting the lies within yourself, asking the hard questions, being willing to admit what's broken, what's painful, what's been ignored for too long. Because when you do that, something shifts. You stop being a victim of your story and start becoming the author of it. And that's where the real power begins. In truth, there is direction. In truth, there is strength. In truth, there is freedom, and that kind of freedom, the kind that comes from living a life aligned with what's real, is the most powerful thing you will ever own.